So let's talk about this. When nothing feels normal, when your routine feels interrupted, when you can't rely on anything stable anymore, it can literally make you feel lost. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to the Beautiful Vessels podcast. I'm your host, Cydney Terese, and I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for listening in and being here with me today. Thank you for showing up as yourself in this space. If this is your first time here, welcome home. This is a space where real women have real conversations about real life experiences and how we can navigate these experiences through God. No filters, no perfection, just the process of becoming all that God has created us to be, one episode at a time. If you've been here before, then you already know this journey. You understand that it is not easy to navigate, but it's always sacred. Last episode, we talked about what it means to have a renewed mind, overcoming the lies that we tell ourselves. If you missed that, you have to go back and listen, because it's one of those episodes where I really felt like it was rooted in how we can grow. But today, this message hits right on time. I can't even lie to you all. This has been such a season for growth in me. When I accepted the call to start this space, I had no idea that it would come with so much conviction, restlessness, and unwavering faith. I had a moment yesterday where I was pondering over what I was going to talk about today. It felt like I could not do anything but just be raw and honest with you. To show up not having all the answers, but to create the space that would allow God to speak through me in the way that He sees fit. I've been in a season that has felt like the wilderness. Like nothing is familiar, everything feels uncomfortable, and everything feels shaken. Everything physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. My routines have been uprooted. The systems I've used in the past, they're falling apart. And some days I literally wake up with such a heavy fog over me. Not sadness necessarily, but a weight, a restlessness, a slow cry asking God, what do I do now? From stepping out on faith and not knowing what the day-to-day will look like and what it will bring, to waiting on the answer for what's to come, to the pressure of building a vision that is bigger than me. Some days it literally feels like I'm doing everything that I can do and I still feel stuck. Not because I'm not moving, but because I can't see the result of what is expected. And to be honest, I question, am I hearing God correctly? But here's the thing that I'm learning. This is a season of transformation. This is a season that so many of us are in, so many of us have struggled with. But even in the wilderness, God is always working. So let's talk about this. When nothing feels normal, when your routine feels interrupted, when you can't rely on anything stable anymore, it can literally make you feel lost. Everything around you looks unfamiliar, and it seems like everything's falling apart. The doors that you expect to stay open, they are cut short. You look back and you're thinking to yourself, what have I lost? What am I stepping into the middle of? This is something new, and it's something that I don't recognize. I'm uncertain. There's absence of God. But we need to recognize that this is a season of transformation. There's a story in 1 Kings 19 about the prophet Elijah. He had just came off a major victory for God. Fire came from heaven, y'all. He should have been on a high about this victory. But right after the victory, he felt fear. He ran into the wilderness. And at this low point, he told God, I have had enough. That really hit me, because there's been so many times that we get to a point where we say, God, I can't do this anymore. I have had enough. We talk about the mountaintops moments, but we don't talk about the cave moments, the hiding in the wilderness moments, the crying on the bathroom floor moments, the avoiding the call moments. But what I love about this message is how God responds. He doesn't rebuke Elijah. He doesn't tell him to get it together. He lets him rest. He sends an angel to feed him, and then he speaks, not in the wind, not in an earthquake tone, but in a small voice that tells me everything. Sometimes God doesn't show us in loud noises. He shows us in quiet whispers. If he shouted, we would miss the moment. So when the noise fades and we're left feeling like there's nothing but stillness that's left over, this is whenever we are the most vulnerable and open. And this is when we can hear God's voice. This is whenever honesty and raw authenticness creeps in. And you recognize that God has been there the whole time. In the wilderness, God never leaves us. He meets us right where we are. And we have to observe that this is a moment of transformation. Because transformation doesn't usually happen on the mountaintop. It happens in the breaking, in the shedding, and in the space that feels like we really don't know where to go next. He starts to remove the old identities, false comforts, and things that make us feel like we just can't live the life that we used to live. And in the quiet times, he reveals our strengths. In the stillness, he releases clarity. And in the wilderness, he begins showing us who we are becoming. And I get it. Maybe you're in the wilderness right now. Maybe you're questioning if the vision you're building is still worth it. Maybe you've been praying and planning and pouring out and you're still waiting on your breakthrough. You're showing up, but you're tired. You're trusting, but you're unsure. You're walking in faith, but you feel so foggy along the way. Sis, let me tell you, you are not alone. I am literally right there with you. And I'm learning firsthand that discomfort doesn't mean that you are off track. It means that you're being stretched. Confusion can be mistaken that God is not there. Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." My sweet soul, this verse doesn't say after the wilderness. It says in the wilderness, right there, right in the middle of confusion, right in the middle of discomfort, right in the times whenever you feel like you're experiencing nothingness. God is there. This is when he shows up and he can show you that you are stepping into your next chapter. So what if you're experiencing this time right now? What if you feel like you're not experiencing the promise? What if the reason that things feel out of control is because God is removing what can't come with you to the next season? Literally, I've been noticing that so many of my friendships that I used to cling to, they just don't feel the same. The conversations that I have, they just don't hit the way that they used to, and the alignment is just not there anymore. Some jobs, the roles, the responsibilities, things that I thought were a norm, they've shifted. They've disappeared. I've lost grip of them. Every day. A routine seems different. And things that used to excite me now feel dull and they feel foreign. I found myself quietly wondering, do I need to follow certain people on Instagram? No shade, but it's because I don't resonate with them anymore. It doesn't feel like they resonate with where I'm going. And I've outgrown that person. I realize that I am in the shedding. This is in the pruning. I am in preparation. And this is the kind of control that I have to let go of. Sometimes God himself starts pulling things away, not to punish us, not to persuade us and tell us that we're not worthy or we don't need to have these things. He fades these things away. He removes these things. He removes distractions to allow us to step more further fully into our calling. He gives us a new routine that invites us to the rhythm of who we are becoming. He takes away things that no longer serve us to give us things that we can carry along our walk and our purpose. We create an appetite for greater things, and it hurts. It's so unfamiliar, and it makes you feel like maybe you need to give yourself enough grace. God doesn't love us too much not to carry us along the way. He's designed us in ways that we need to recognize that He knows exactly what He's doing. He's the choreographer. He's changing things within our spirit. He's aligning things, everything in our life along the way that we need to. So we need to release those things. If we're feeling out of place right now, if you are wondering if this is where you need to be, if you're wondering if you're questioning your why, if you're wondering if you need to be shedding certain weights, let God have His way. He's doing a new thing. What if the silence isn't about absence from God, but an invitation to move closer and to trust Him more? It's okay to not have it all together. It's okay to feel unsure. It's okay to cry, to question, to wrestle with God, but don't let this stop you from showing up every day. Make it a point to show up every day, sis. And listen, this is hard. It's even hard for myself, but let's keep going. Let's keep doing the thing that God has called us to do in order for us to transform and become the people that He's called us to be. Because even when we don't feel ready, God is already working. And sometimes the biggest moves of faith aren't the loudest. They're quiet. They're the persistent ones. The ones that just tell us, you know what, God, I don't know how I'm going to make it, but I'm just going to give you one step today. So today I want to encourage you with this. What part of your comfort is being shaken? Where might God be trying to move you through the wilderness? What is He trying to whisper to you right now? Because that whisper, it might just be the next breakthrough. 1 Kings 19:12 says, "And after the fire came a gentle whisper." That verse reminds me that God doesn't always move in the loud moments. Sometimes our breakthrough comes in the stillness and in the quiet. In those exact moments, we finally pause to sit with Him long enough. So don't ignore the whisper. Don't overlook the silence. Because God might be speaking the loudest when everything is actually still. If this episode spoke to you, and my prayer is that it did, screenshot it, share it, tag me at Cydney Terese and at beautifulvessels_ on Instagram. I want to know what really resonated with you. And if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so that you never miss these conversations. Until next time, stay grounded in grace and guided by purpose. I love you all so much. Talk soon.